It's at my Jill today, so I gotta get over there this afternoon. I like Jill.
Are you ready?
About time.
Good morning, everybody. It's 10:20. We're starting earlier than I thought we would. Can we have a roll call?
Alan? Juby?
Should be remote.
Leonard?
Leonard here.
Sanchez?
Sanchez present.
Williams?
Williams present.
Roth?
Roth here.
Kenyon?
Here.
You have quorum.
So would somebody like to get a unanimous consent on the previous minutes?
Roth will make a motion to do an unanimous consent.
Is there any disagreement? Okay, if there's approved. Is there any public comment? Thank God, no.
Julie may have a comment.
Well, Julie, well, I want to thank Julie for doing what she did when we had the young people from the 4-H. She took them down in the room and had educational speeches, and they actually enjoyed the experience.
Yes.
Even though they missed the fireworks.
Yeah, thank you, Julie.
I'm sure they all watched YouTube afterwards.
I don't see Steve Arnold. I haven't communicated with him. So I think he's probably just lost. Anyway. You know, this is agriculture. Tuesday, was it Wednesday was National Agriculture Day. You'd think he'd be here. Passing out free samples of steak. Anyway, Northern Illinois Food Bank. Are they on the line?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick report for me. I sort of wanted to give a quick overview of our operations in Kane County from February. So in February, we distributed over 866,000 meals, and our year to date is just slightly over 7 million. So we're keeping on pace for the amount of meals that we're distributing compared to last year. So we're looking to sort of keep the same amount of meals being distributed as in this fiscal year as compared to last fiscal year. So those 7 million meals are from our Direct Connect program, our agency orders, child nutrition programs, as well as our MPX and mobiles. And as I reiterated last meeting, we're seeing an average of 450,000 neighbors each month. And in January of 2022, this was around 350,000. So we're over 50% pre-pandemic and just over 100,000 neighbors, increase in neighbors being served from this point last year. And those numbers reflect our 13 county service area in total, but the numbers within Kane County are also up as well compared to last year and the years prior. We're expected to also see the amount of neighbors being served go up due to SNAP emergency allotments coming to an end. So February was the last month where those emergency allotments were distributed. So March is the first month where those are no longer available. So that's a reduction in benefits by around $95 to $225 per family. And then many seniors will be receiving the minimum benefit of $23. And this is really important to us. We're paying really close attention to the upcoming Farm Bill and advocating for SNAP improvements to maybe improve that minimum benefit and adjust SNAP benefit levels, and then also improvements to the Emergency Food Assistance Program, otherwise known as TFAP. So that is our government food purchased through the USDA. So that food is also down compared to the height of the pandemic. And as I mentioned last meeting, we're purchasing a lot more of our food. So the need is really high. So in the Farm Bill, we'll be advocating for improvements to SNAP and TFAP, and that affects not only our operations, but an improved Farm Bill affects agencies within Kane County as well. So that's all I have. I'm happy to take any questions.
Mavis Bates. What?
Microphone, please.
Microphone.
What is TFAP?
So TFAP is the Emergency Food Assistance Program. So every year we get an allotment from the USDA. So we get part of our food that we give through agencies is actually from the USDA. So they'll purchase food and then distribute that back down to the state, which then distributes it down to member food banks. So we get a certain allotment of that every year. And that's that's super helpful for operations. As I mentioned, we're purchasing. So right now our purchase food budget's around 25%. Pre-pandemic, that was around 10%. So the government food, the government commodities that we receive are super important to our operations. And those government commodities were really high during the pandemic, and it's slowly gone down as emergency funding has decreased. And with our food purchase budget going up recently, our government commodities are more important than ever now.
Mavis Bates?
Mavis Bates, I'm sorry, you're talking just a little fast. Do you see the numbers of people seeking help are going down or going up?
They're going up. So we're seeing around, across 13 counties, it's around 450,000 people being served each month. And this is over 50% up from the pre-pandemic. And last January, I think this was around 350,000. So it's gone significantly up, and we anticipate it to continue going up since SNAP emergency allotments have come to an end.
Are you keeping up?
I'm sorry.
Are you keeping up with this demand?
We're trying our best.
Okay.
It's been a little difficult. We've had to purchase a lot more food, and we're sort of doing some creative budgeting to sort of help mitigate some of that for next year. But we're holding our own. As I mentioned, the farm bill will be super important for us to hopefully get some more funding for government commodities, and hopefully as inflation goes down, our food donations will come back up too, because those have been going down as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I see on TV the other night, Linda Yu came out and raised money for the food bank. Channel
Yes.
7.
That's right. Yes,
Raised a lot of money.
that's right. That was really awesome.
And I hear on the radio too that Senator DeWitt is going to, on the 3rd of next month, is going to start a food drive to benefit.
I did
to
not know
benefit
that.
all
So,
of you.
yeah, that'd be awesome. I did not know that, so I will have to follow up with them. That's great.
When you're old, you listen to the radio, don't you?
I always listen to the radio.
All right, let's move along. Unless there's any questions anymore.
Well, I'm done.
Let's talk Illinois Agricultural Natural Resources Legacy Act. Janice Hill.
Good morning, everyone. I'm coming to you remote this morning to give you a brief presentation about some new legislation that is working its way through the Illinois legislature. It's a mouthful. It's called the Illinois Agriculture and Natural Resources Legacy Act. All of those words are our favorite, I think. Agriculture, natural resources, and legacy. Certainly the backbone of what we do for farmland protection. It's something that we're in support of at the staff level here. And I wanted to give you a little bit of background. I did speak to legislative committee yesterday. Many of you already heard this presentation from that, but also wanted to talk with Ag Committee today because the legislative committee and then an energy and environmental committees are sending a letter of support. So if that's something that the committee feels would be good, I'm happy to help all the committee chairs in the drafting today and tomorrow. So with that, we'll go to the next slide. Just to give this Illinois legislation context in terms of what it will do in the context of our world here in Kane County. You all know that we have the Blue Ribbon Farmland Protection Program that was started in 2001. Research started in 1999, and we are and still stand to be the only county program in Illinois, which has been fantastic for us, but for our neighbors has been difficult because and even some of our landowners that own land in DeKalb or McHenry or Kendall might have land on the other side, they are not eligible to apply for farmland protection using federal match money, which we always apply for. So if this Illinois legislation that's proposed would create a program here in Illinois, and most importantly, a fund, so that the state of Illinois could capture some federal money to support this work. And the map of the states that you have below shows where in our country there are state programs. There always are some standalone county programs, but those often are in states where they have a state program. And of course, Pennsylvania, New York, some of those are our oldest programs in the country. We certainly looked at how those were structured when we created our program. And then the gradation in color that's shown there shows how many easements these longstanding state programs have had. And you see here that Illinois is kind of standing there alone. Our neighbors, Michigan and Wisconsin, have programs and are moving along. And so there is an effort underway to create legislation to authorize a program for Illinois and the fund. Okay, next slide, please. So again, the importance of this for us and then also for anyone, all of our neighbors, is that we would be able to capture more federal money through the various farmland protection programs that are authorized in the Farm Bill. And you know, we have what's called the ACE, I'm going to use the acronyms now, ASAP, ALE, which is the Agriculture Conservation Easement Program, Agriculture Land Easements. It's a mouthful. They change the name every Farm Bill, but basically it's the funding that we use to match our local dollars and able to stretch that funding and bring back to our county. And we use that for our easements here. And so that comes through the Farm Bill. And of course, right now we're under the 2018 Farm Bill, and that will expire in September. And there's a new Farm Bill that's being drafted. So we know that there's a lot of money being set aside for easements, and the timing is just fantastic for our state to be able to capture in the future, in upcoming years, this money. We would continue to operate our program as we have here in Kane County, but we might be able to also participate in the state program if we had one, so that we have multiple sources of revenue coming in. Okay, next slide. And just to give you an idea of how this fits into the Farm Bill, I know we were just talking about this with Northern Illinois Food Bank in terms of the important programs that are authorized. There are many, many programs authorized under the Farm Bill. As you can see, most of it is for nutrition programs, which are so essential. But our work within farmland protection comes under that wedge of conservation. And then even within that wedge, farmland protection funds are very small percentage of that, but still very, very important. The word is $3.1 billion coming up in the next few years. Of course, we all have to share that with throughout the country, but more money than ever, I think, coming in for permanent easements. And it certainly helps reduce our local match and is really essential. So if the state can get this approved at this time, I think it would be really, really good. It's still in the Senate right now. They're tweaking little considerations on it right now. And hopefully it will get approved shortly and then move on to the House. And then we should know by May whether or not this legislation is approved. Nonetheless, our program continues and we continue to request funding. There could be some extra funding at the end of this year. I think, you know, we've done this in the past. If there's money that someone's not using, we have the match, we'll go for it. That's a quick announcement if that happens. Sometimes the Farm Bill, if they can't come to agreement by the fall, they'll extend it. That could offer us a little bit of extra money while they're working out details, but I'll keep you updated on that. Does anyone have any questions?
No questions have surfaced.
Okay,
Good
would
job
you
of
like me
presenting.
to help Mr. Kenyon in the drafting of a letter of support for this legislation, like I'm going to do for legislative and energy and environmental?
I would move that we would,
You would move that?
Yeah,
Mr.
that-
Roth
yeah.
moves. H, would you second? No.
I'm not on the committee.
No, well, it's your loss, our loss.
Just act like I know.
Debbie Allen seconds.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a
Discussion,
question.
yes, sir.
Could we potentially also have it done at the board level too? The same recommendation?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I
That's a question and we can find out. We don't need an answer right
have
now.
a confession.
Okay, just
My
one.
hearing aids have not been working.
Okay,
So I turned them over and she said, your speakers are not working. So I have nothing. So I'm back to not hearing well.
okay,
So write your question.
okay. So I would move that we try to have the same recommendation passed by the whole board.
Okay. Is there any other comments?
Mr. Chairman, Bill Leonard, please.
Yes, Bill?
Yes, I believe that we have to go through committee structure before we go to county
Oh.
board. So I think the resolution
would
has
be-
to start in the agriculture committee first.
That
Right.
would be correct, Mr.
So we
Leonard.
can start it?
Yes.
We will begin it here.
Okay, and that's fine. I knew that. And so, yeah, started here, but continue on to the board, please. Thank
Will
you.
do.
Mr.
Yeah, maybe this is Mark Van Kerkhoff. Janice, could you comment a little bit on the timing? I understand the urgency for letters from committee chairs. There's a little bit of a timing issue. I think the staff is happy to bring a resolution through for the full county board. But it might be, past the timing of the legislative action. So Janice, what do you know about the timing
Yeah,
for
I
the letters
think-
or at a resolution?
Yeah, this is what I would anticipate. Of course, they can always change their mind in terms of timing, but I would think that your letters will be received by the Senate committee. The House will be considering it after that. So if we were to bring a resolution for April to this committee, then maybe the timing can work for the House decision. Hopefully we'll have a Senate decision next week or so.
Question, Alan.
Wait a second. Let Ms. Allen talk.
Certainly.
Abby?
Just this question is an additional thing that we should do is try and encourage as many people on the board or anywhere else in the universe to do the witness slip business. Do we just need to make sure we know how to do that so we can get witness slips into our legislators?
I can send that out to you again, the link for that. I did it as a citizen and got that in right away, but definitely more would be great. I'll be sure to send that link out.
Thanks, Janice.
Sure. Mavis?
I don't have a question at this
You
time.
had one.
I did. Oh, I do have one.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you for reminding me. So even if it would take an extra few weeks, possibly to get a letter from the board, can we go ahead with these letters from the committees right away?
Counselor Shepro?
Well, again, it's not an agenda item to formally do that. I think for a letter, the Mr. Van Kerkhoff's suggestion that staff could assist in preparing a letter, and then you could do it by that famous word consensus. I mean, if you try to go through the official committee flow, you wouldn't get this till April, the end of the month, and then it would still have to go through exec and the county board, by which time the legislature would probably be enjoying their.
So what do you want us to do? Can we vote on it?
I think you could ask for a consensus to
I'm
Ask
asking for
staff to
consent.
draft
Mr.
a-
Van Kerkhoff?
a letter.
Yeah, I believe what's been done in the past for a variety of related issues has been staff would prepare a letter for your signature as the chair and the other chairs stating that the committee, the agricultural committee, the Kane County Board is aware of the pending legislation and wishes to encourage their support of its passage, that kind of thing. So it does not represent the entire board, but does represent the consensus of the committee for the timing reasons and prepared for your signature as chair.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes?
As the chairman of the Energy and Environmental Committee, my committee will not meet again for 3 weeks or so. So are we may I sign the letter or do I have to have a meeting of the energy and environmental first?
Mr. Sanchez has got his hand up.
I was going to suggest that perhaps if a time is an issue and you don't have time to get consent of the full committee, you could just send it as the committee chair. And you
Okay.
wouldn't need permission for that.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay, we've got,
Oh,
He's teaching me.
do we have a consensus from Mr. Ross' motion, which is not a motion?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then it's approved to do that and move ahead.
All right, thank you.
Anything else, Janice?
No, that's it for me. Thank you for your support as always.
Thank you.
thank you for your hard work on that, Janice.
Thank you.
Water resources?
Thank you. Jody Walsh, Director of Environmental and Water Resources. I just have a quick update for you today on the Climate Action Implementation Plan progress. You are all welcome and hopefully you can join us on Monday when we have our listening sessions. The first one is here in this room between noon and 1. It's also available via Zoom. If you need additional information, you can contact Ivy Klee of our office. There will be snacks. So if nothing else, come for the snacks. We're looking forward to a great presentation from our consultant, Pale Blue Dot. They'll be here doing a quick presentation on the background of the plan, and then it'll be very interactive with poster boards, soliciting information and comments and ideas that we'd love to hear from you. If you can't make the one between noon and 1, there will be another version of it, the same identical version at the Aurora Library that same night, Monday night, the 27th, between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. And then we also have a pending date in Elgin later in April. We were able to meet with Mr. Kenyon and the Farm Bureau a couple weeks ago to discuss the potential action items and get some feedback from the farm community on the agricultural chapter. It was a great meeting and we got a wealth of information as fast as Ivy Klee could type. She was typing in notes from that meeting. We had a lot of the strategies that have been typically utilized in climate action planning for agriculture. To just kind of run down them very quickly, the fertilizer use can contribute to greenhouse gases if it's overused. The ability to manage manure from livestock is another big contributor. And as we're learning, the drainage of our agricultural fields really impacts how much greenhouse gas is released. And then we have the general light usage, the types of vehicles and the fuels used in those vehicles. And so we're kind of looking for what our farmers are doing and some background with that, as well as the strategies that fit our county the best. And so what I think we've learned from that meeting at the Farm Bureau is that the kind of tailored agricultural strategies for climate action planning may not be all applicable to our area, as our farmers are doing and taking great strides in many of these areas already. And we also have been able to reach out to our fertilizer suppliers at the Elburn Co-op and the Farm Service, and have gotten a wealth of information from them as well. And so any other input, we're looking to reach out to some of our larger livestock farmers, and any other input from any other farmers in Kane County is truly appreciated. Moving forward, once after we have these listening sessions, we'll be gearing up more on a stakeholder group meeting schedule, where we will have folks that are interested in particular aspects of the plan, specifically sitting down and working through the ideas that are presented from our public comment, and any ideas that they might have to start really digging into these implementation strategies that can be utilized right out of the climate action plan. So it's very exciting, a lot of learning, and certainly anyone and any farmers that you know that might be interested in being more involved in this process, please send them our way. Thank you.
It was really fun.
Is there any other questions, comments? Oh, right. I won't count on that. She's not going to speak anymore. But that won't
I
happen.
zip my lips.
This is all very important for us as people. That there is climate change and there are things that we have to do. But I'll remind you, on the farm, we live where we work. So we're quite conscious of what we do. And actually, we've gotten better. Is there anything else? Matt, do you have anything to add? Because you weren't here. I didn't see your name there.
Right. No, I don't have any updates this month. I might have a few grant program updates next month though. So stay tuned.
Okay. Comment on the 4-H day. I thought it went well. Thank you, Julie Mann, for taking charge and introducing the young people to what goes on in the county. I had good response from Andrea Frere. She's the coordinator from for the count for the, what is that called? Cooperative Extension. Anything else to come before us? Oh, God, look, this is the way to run a meeting. Where's Cliff Sturgis when we need to show him how to do it? Do we have a motion to place the reports on file?
Roth will make a motion to place the reports on file.
For a second?
Alan,
Sanchez, second.
second.
Sanchez seconds. Want to roll call it? You got to do something.
Alan,
Alan, I.
Juby. Juby, I. Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Williams,
Williams, yes.
Roth,
Roth, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
approved.
Now.
Bates, yes.
Bates, yes. You aren't going to talk. The reports are on file. Do we need an executive session? No. Do we need a motion to adjourn, Mr. Roth?
Roth will make the motion to adjourn.
And
Seconds.
Sanchez seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.